Welcome back to FOXSOUL's Black Report. An alarming new report shows that Black foster care students face more severe school discipline.
The findings come out of West Virginia, where they say being Black or enrolled in foster care is the biggest risk factor for being disciplined in the state. Now, West Virginia is also ranked as one of the states with the most children in foster care per capita. That's according to new data from the Department of Education. Now, the study showed that 1 in 4 of the 4,000 students in foster care were suspended due to disciplinary issues.
Joining us now to shine more light on the issues that exist for Black foster care young people and in the system, what we can all do to help and more, is Toni Oliver, retired child welfare administrator and former president for the National Association of Black Social Workers. Welcome to FOXSOUL's Black Report.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Let's start with social work. It is not for those who are not strong. What led you to help children struggling in the system?
Well, I'm really not sure what led me to it. I just know that once I got into it, I couldn't leave. I focused my master's studies on the child welfare system because I wanted to use one field of study to apply to all of the classes. And once I got out, actually during that time, I began to notice that there was something that was happening very differently for African American families and children in the foster care system. And when I got out, I joined an agency that was looking to find Black adoptive families for Black children who were in foster care. And I was excited to do that because I didn't have a sense that Black people didn't adopt, but the field said Black people didn't adopt, and the field said that Black children were hard to place. Neither one of those did I subscribe to.
And just for our own education, how long on average is a Black kid in the system, and what are the odds of them finding a forever home?
Okay, I wish I had the statistics to give you an average of how long Black children are in foster care, but what I can tell you is that all of the data that compares Black children to their white counterparts shows that, number one, Black children come into the system more quickly. They come in more likely for neglect rather than abuse. Once they get in, they stay longer, oftentimes never leaving. While they're in, they have multiple placements, as many as 10 or more. And when they leave, they have not been connected to a permanent family. And so the percentages of them becoming a part of the homeless population is also increased. And we haven't even talked about what their experience is while they're in foster care. Being separated from their families, being separated from their children, and the fact that we really don't look at the incidence of abuse and neglect while in foster care.
Yeah, could you share with us some of the misconceptions when it comes to Black foster children and the system?
Well, you know, one of the things that was always uncomfortable for me is the fact that we call it the child welfare system, and children are not commodities outside of a connection to a family. And so one of the misconceptions is that Black children are coming into foster care because their families are not caring for them effectively. Black children are coming into foster care because poor families are over scrutinized in schools, in the hospitals, by law enforcement. It's typically, you could look at zip codes. Poor communities are the ones where children are coming in. The conditions that those children are living in and their families are such that you could say that the society has neglected them, not that their families have neglected the children. And if we were to look at a family welfare system, what we would be doing is looking at building and supporting supports and resources that would enable families to be able to care for their children. Case in point, when during the pandemic, there were the numbers of children who came into foster care decreased significantly because there was no scrutiny on their family. And at the same time, child abuse and neglect did not increase. Also, the child welfare grants that were given by the federal government increased family functioning significantly. So the kinds of supports that families need to be able to take care of themselves are not provided by the foster care system.
For those who are watching who can't adopt, or they can't foster for a whole variety of reasons. What can we all do to help?
That's a very good question. And I think that there are a number of things that we have established in the Black community over time about self-help. And we've looked at the Divine Nine, we've looked at our churches, we've looked at other community groups, and we have found a way to take care of each other. Now, I'm not saying that we would do that absent other types of supports, but there are so many things that we can do to be able to provide resources for children, whether it's recreational, whether it's tutoring, whether it's through like I said, the Divine Nine or other community groups. There's so many services and systems in communities that are there to help other people if they were supported to be able to meet the needs of children who would otherwise come into foster care.
Yeah, Ms. Oliver.
But I do believe that there are a number of African American families, singles or whatever, who are interested in being supports to families. And many of them experience the same kinds of difficulties when they approach agencies to become support families for children in foster care.
Yeah. So for those who, may be open, whether it's their, hearts, minds, home to fostering, or maybe just following along, getting some more information on social media, how can we learn more and get involved? Any websites or numbers or organizations you suggest we get in touch with?
Well, there are two things. One is, I would say, if you're impacted by the foster care system and you're looking for what your rights are, then you need to be connected to, you could call them self-help groups. There's one that comes to mind immediately, JMAC for Families. It's very active nationally and located in New York City. I would also look to community groups that provide services to families to get a sense of the agencies or programs that are operating to help children in a variety of ways. And I say that because there have been too many instances where I have received information from families who said they've gone to the traditional agencies to foster and adopt, and that the criteria that they use to screen out families has not enabled them to become a foster or adoptive parent. So there are two things here. One is we do have a foster care system. We do need more Black and brown people and Native American to be resources for the children who are impacted by the system. And at the same time, we need more support of the organizations that are working to improve community resources to help families so that children do not come in foster care in the first place.
Our thanks to Toni Oliver, retired child welfare administrator and former president of the National Association of Black Social Workers. We love social workers and we love you. You are an honorary soulmate. Please come on back again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.